everyone, my name is Matthew. Join me as we learn and unlearn things and make new discoveries. This is AnDiscoveries. For more than a century, people from across the world have been marking the 8th of March as a special day for women. Recognized by the United Nations, International Women's Day has become a date to celebrate how far women have come in society and politics and in economics. What better way to commemorate this day than by being the presence of 12 women who are not just beautiful, but who are also playing meaningful roles with their different advocacies. For today's episode, let's discover the voices of the candidates of Miss Cebu 2022.
Soft scents beneath your feet, like the soft wind calling, like the April sun on a perfect day, like the bounty from the sea, like the sound of a laughter from a Cebuana brightens up your day. Oh, that lovely Cebuana, captivating smile, that romantic guitar playing, like the beauty of the sunset, like the beat of the drum, the energy that's from within, like.
So we are here at the picturesque icon alley of Corso Lifemalls by Filinvest here at the South Road Properties, and just as beautiful as the scenery around me are our first 4 candidates for Miss Cebu 2022. Let's all welcome in our outdoor set. We have Shaira, we have Bianca, Danica, and Rian. Hi ladies! Happy International Women's Day to the 4 of you. How are you feeling now that the competition is drawing nearer and nearer? By the way, we are reminding all of our viewers that the coronation night will be this coming March 16, and it will be live streamed via Miss Cebu's official Facebook page, and of course My TV Cebu's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and via Signal TV. Alright, so kamusta na mga opat? How are you?
Very good actually. We're just very happy na nagkauban naming tanan again because it's been a long break because of the Super Typhoon Odette, which was such an unfortunate event. But right now we're just really happy that we're all well, healthy, and we're very excited that the pageant is finally gonna push off.
Yes, kay diba, it was supposedly held last January, ang coronation night. Kinsa ang murag grabe na apektuhan sa Odette sa inyo among the 4?
Thankfully, my family was okay, just minor damages.
It's the same for me. Like few of our rooms were actually damaged, but everyone is okay.
We have a house in Barili and it wasn't very good, but thankfully my family here in the city is we're all safe.
How about you, Rian?
There are some damages, but thankfully my family is happy and well.
Ano siya no, resilient man gyud ang mga Bisaya. Despite the pandemic, despite Odette, we are still here fighting, lumalaban yun. Speaking of resiliency and fighting, we actually grouped you according to your different backgrounds or your advocacies. Now for this specific segment, for first segment, for the 4 of you, I'd like to touch on the topic of one's mental health, because murag the 4 of you share similar advocacies on mental health, diba? Looking at the 4 of you right now, you're all very, very beautiful. But I'm sure nga, kanang you've also had your own fair share of insecurities. So just to humanize everyone, kaya diba, when people talk about pageantry, usahay mong good ganang, ay, dili ko, kay I'm not tall enough, I'm not skinny enough. What were your insecurities growing up as a child?
As a child, I was told that I was too tall. Actually, because when I was young, I was quite tall compared to the other guys in my class.
Okay.
So hala taas sa kaayo ka, maglisod kag pangita og Paris. Hoy! Pero with meeting other girls through pageantry, it really made me realize that it doesn't really matter if you're tall, you're short, or whatever height, or whatever weight or size you are. As long as you're happy with yourself and how you look, and you're confident every day that you have a purpose, then go lang yun. If you have a purpose, then go.
So this being too tall, which you thought was like a disadvantage sa imuha growing up, has become your strength already now.
Yes, because in pageantry, you know, there is still a standard that taller girls look good daw in pageants. But no, let's scale that vibe. No, let's break that stereotype, because anyone who wants to join pageants can join pageants.
I think timely sad nga si Bianca imong tupad, because it really caught my attention during your launching, Biancs, that your advocacy was to promote inclusiveness in mga beauty pageants without the height requirements. Again, what's your story?
Okay, so actually, when I just started pageantry, there was actually a person who said, "Dai guwapa ka, promobo lang ka." So actually, that hit me in a lot of ways, because it actually made me see an outlook in life where, you know, people are just seeing how you look from the outside. And in pageantry, as what Shira said, it's a stereotype that we have to stop, because anyone can join. And actually, this is why I'm here to prove to the girls who are short, if you want to join, then you can. It doesn't matter how tall or how short you are. If it is in your will and in your capabilities, then you can do it.
Nice. And I think it's also very admirable sa Miss Cebu pageant itself. No, wala siya height requirement, diba? Para bisag kinsa who wants to join, can join. What's your story, Dan?
Well, for me, growing up, I was told that I was too skinny because I was really skinny my entire life. It's only when I was in college that I started gaining weight. And then when I started gaining weight, people would start telling me, "Uy, ni dako lagi ka."
So was sila malipay bisag unsa?
Diba? Like, di jud makontento. People will always have something to say, but it's a matter of really knowing what makes you happy and trusting yourself. And also, there was a point in my life during my pageant experience that I thought maybe pageantry isn't for me, because I was also told that I was not tall enough and that my body doesn't fit the standards of a beauty queen. So that's when I was giving more weight to what people were telling me than to listen to my own voice. But when I discovered Miss Cebu is coming back, I told myself, you know, I know I'm gonna regret if I don't try it again, because I know that I have a purpose and I have a story to share, and so I want to give it one more try. So pageantry is evolving. Anyone who is confident enough, and if you really want to put yourself out there, you deserve to be heard.
Nice. Rian.
For me, I think growing up, I was so insecure with my body as well.
In terms of what?
In terms of my type, body type, my build, like how skinny I am, and also in my nose, like my physical features, because I have like big cheeks and I have big cheeks and like a super small eyes, but I've come to this age while I'm 20 years old, and I've realized that no matter how you look, no matter how you project yourself, something within you matters. And I think that's the most important thing.
All right. Thank you, Kaya, for sharing your stories. I could remember back then when I was in college, when I was in 4th grade college, my classmates kept on telling me, join Miss Cebu, but I really did not have the courage to do so, because I had also my fair share of insecurities. So now that you guys are sharing your stories, nindot kayo siya, because it serves as an inspiration to all the girls and women out there who don't feel as confident in themselves. Nga, kaya man di ay, di ba? But in terms of online, unsay effect sa social media towards your self-esteem as women? Like, has it been, especially during the competition, di ba? Have you been subject to cyberbullying ever since gipang upload in yung photos online? Have you experienced that?
As for me, and I guess none of us have shared that anyone has been bullied during the span of our experience for Miss Cebu. But when it comes to social media, it's very important that we don't think or just what do you call this? We don't just think that their lives is what they put on social media, because everything is not what it seems on social media. And it's really important that we don't really compare ourselves to everything that we see online, because people just post what they want to share.
Yes.
And we don't really know what they're going through. And it's the same with us. We don't always talk about our problems with our friends, but I think that it's important that when we use social media, we're responsible enough, and also just be honest and speak your truth. You don't have to pretend to be someone else, and it's important that we can all relate to one another. Because if you speak up and just share your story uniquely, in a raw manner, I think it's more beautiful that way.
Kamo, have you tried feeling insecure because of the curated presence of other people on their Instagram accounts, their Facebook pages? I think it's normal man sad siguro.
I would admit yes. Whenever I would see other posts and beautiful girls, of course, it's normal to be insecure with yourself. But at the end of the day, no one else can appreciate you other than yourself. So I would always, if ever I come to the point that I'm insecure with myself, I would look in the mirror like, no, you are beautiful regardless of how you look or how they look, because that's what matters. You have to be confident with yourself.
To add to that, with the world of social media, there is really, you have to be aware what's real and what's not real. Like what Danica said, it's curated. With Bianca said it is curated. People choose what to post. They post the glamorous side, the happy side. You don't really see posts about the problems that you go through in life. But what's the beauty with social media, with beauty pageants and beauty queens, is that we actually are a point of discussion for these things, that we are able to say things that are not glamorous. Aside from sharing the beauty and the glamour of pageants, we also share about our advocacies, especially that we just finished with actually some people are still affected with the typhoon, with the aftermath of the typhoon, that we are still helping, and we can be a point of discussion again with from the different organizations that can reach out through us and help other people. So that's the beauty of social media. Social media connects people, and we just have to be aware what's real and not real.
And I think a trick to cope up from insecurity is acceptance. If you learn how to accept yourself, if someone bullies you, you know your flaws, you know who you are, you know that you are something more than what they say, then just make sure that you care only for those things that matters.
Mo agree gid ko ana, because if you own your flaws, wala naman sila ikasaway, di ba? Nga naman di ay. Yes, exactly. So they can't use it anymore against you because you've come to accept it and own it.
All you have to answer is like, I know and thank you.
Oh, diba? Pero have you become more careful in terms of what you post on social media since you joined the pageant, especially now that you are placed on a pedestal ba? Kayo are the candidates of Miss Cebu 2022.
Of course. Before joining Miss Cebu, I always post aesthetic things. I love aesthetic things. Like I always post quotes or something random. But right now, I think that all the things that I post on my Instagram, Facebook, and any other social media platforms are something that has purpose, not just something random. I think that social media is something I can use for something big, not just for something fun.
But curious lang ko, now that you're telling me that you're confident in your own bodies and your own skin, unsa lay diet sa usa ka candidate sa Miss Cebu? What do you guys eat? Sure? Mga unjud mo, guys?
Yes!
Lots of cakes.
So how do you keep your figures?
As for me, I actually have no limitations with what I eat, but I do
Really?
intermittent fasting. So I stop eating at 8 p.m. and I eat again at around 10 or 11 p.m. But between those times during my eating window, I still eat whatever I want. So I think it's more effective for me that way because I don't crave for much because I can eat whatever I want. But I have to be responsible enough and more
mag-gym mo?
disciplined enough.
No. Wala
Busy
pa.
kay on schedule.
So gifted mong opat. Okay.
Out for now, but
Gamay lang from time to time. Insert
All
light
right.
exercise.
Okay, so now that you've been very vocal about your advocacy on keeping or protecting one's mental health, what's your advice, especially to the little girls out there who are seeing you guys as their role models? And then na-discuss naman yun nato no ang mga insecurities, especially us girls growing up. You're being told that we're too skinny, and then kung tambok ta, we're too fat. We're never enough for people. But what's your message to them?
My advice to all the young girls is just embrace pain and learn to accept your flaws. Because if you embrace pain, you will know how to cope up with it through time. Because time changes everything and time matters. So through it, if you learn to accept yourself as well, then you don't need validation from other people to accept you. Because you love you. And that's what matters.
Dan?
As for me, my message, especially to all the young Cebuanas, never allow anyone to tell you that you're not capable. Because it's you that has to believe in yourself first. And just do whatever you want, learn from your mistakes, allow yourself to make mistakes, and just keep going.
Bianca?
You know, I wish when I was young, someone was able to tell me this. And I'm actually very thankful that I'm able to share this to the people out there, is that don't let other people's opinions validate you. I feel like it is very important to have a control of your life and don't let other people control you, because at the end of the day, you are what matters and other people's opinion doesn't matter anymore.
And for me, you know, as a registered nurse, I see the world of mental health differently because I've seen cases clinically, and I know people who are going through, or friends that go through such problems in life that affect their mental health. I really want to tell people, Cebuanas alike, that you have to be kind to yourself. No matter what, you really have to have a great support system within you, and you have to be kind to yourself and to others, because if you do that, you'll be able to express yourself more. You have to you don't take life too seriously, and you get to reach out to people more. So be kind to yourself.
All right, wonderful words. Muragwan ako'y madugang ato. You've said it enough. Thank you so much, ladies. And we wish you all the luck this coming March 16. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so up next, we will be having another 4 sets of equally lovely candidates of Miss Cebu 2022 when we return here on AnDiscoveries. Welcome back to AnDiscoveries. We are still here at the Icon Alley of Corso Lifemalls by Filinvest, and we have another set of lovely candidates of Miss Cebu 2022. And I already greeted the first batch. Happy International Women's Day. Happy Women's Day to the 4 of you. Happy Women's Day. Kamusta ang upat? How are you feeling? Nakulbaan na ba mo for the competition?
Of course. Sometimes I'm just driving in the car and suddenly my heart starts beating really fast.
Really? So random lang ang anxiety.
Yes, Miss.
As for me, Miss, I cannot feel yet. I cannot feel it yet, but I'm still in the point of enjoying, and I'm busy with a lot of things right now with my graduation for masters, and then with my work and Miss Cebu. So Miss Cebu is kind of my my way of enjoying things outside my stressful.
So this is your de-stressing activity. Okay, so the reason why I grouped the 4 of you, because based on what I've read, you also have individual unique advocacy. So can you just briefly describe your advocacies to us? Let's start with Pearl.
Yeah, I am an advocate for road safety, so I wish to have a road safer Cebu.
Chin.
As for me, I'm an architecture apprentice, and I took architecture conservation as an elective. And visiting those towns that we used to go for site visits, I saw the importance that people really love their structure so much, but they don't have the capacity or the knowledge to rebuild it in a way. So I want to help those little communities.
As for me, my advocacy focuses on the rehabilitation of our tourism industry through tourism digitalization. I am a former cabin crew, that is why it is very close to my heart. And we all know the negative effects that the pandemic have brought to our tourism industry. That is why I also enrolled myself in digital marketing, because I want to use that knowledge for me to aid. We have a lot of undiscovered places here in Cebu, and I want to uncover that. I want to help our local community. Thank you.
Gab?
Yeah, so my advocacy is environmental sanitation. So the reason for this, I've actually been dedicating the last 4 years of my life towards this cause because I was a nursing student just 1 year below the previous candidate. And we have to do this community survey, and we were assigned in Tipolo, Mandaue. And what we have to do is assess what the top 3 issues are in their community. So one thing that I concluded was that they felt as if their garbage wasn't thrown away properly or collected on time. So I figured if I could do something about that as a beauty queen in whatever way that I could possible, then I would really find fulfillment in that. So
Nice.
that's why.
I see the 4 of you as champions of your individual advocacies in your different fields, but in time of the celebration of International Women's Day and International Women's Month, Manggod, one of the goals of the celebration is again to fight for the inequalities in terms of opportunities between men or women. I just like to ask each of you, have you had experiences wherein it has been difficult for you to lead or to advance a certain cause because you are a woman? Let's start with you, Pearl, because you are working in siguro amurag a testosterone-filled environment.
So yeah, that's true, miss. I work in a male-dominated profession, and every day I get to experience that. But you know what? Sometimes I wake up and I ask myself if it's worth it, or like if it is even a possible mission for me. But you know, at the end of the day, I always tell myself that in saving lives, there's no gender. And you know, maybe it's about time that we recognize the potential of every woman in all response efforts that we do. Because I believe I am a woman, I can, and because I have the ability to talk, to inspire, and lead with purpose. Because I am a woman.
Could you be more specific, Pearl? Like, can you cite certain instances wherein murag paubos ka because of your being a woman? Like,
Actually, I joined our law enforcement team sometime. I mean, if I have to be on field, and also I am a regional training officer for road safety. So I am around males, and I had this one training not here in Region 7, but I won't be specific about the
Yes,
place.
okay, go.
And when I get in, everyone was just calling me, "Oh, our muse is here," and just and I was challenged. And so I ended up being the top one of that training.
wow.
Because I need to prove them that, in what we do, there's no gender here. I mean, I can deliver. I love what I do. I am passionate what I do. And just like you, I am here trying to save lives.
Nice. How about you, Chin?
Yeah, as for me, it's quite the same. Architecture used to be a male-dominated society. And it's not only like architects. We have a lot of allied professionals like engineers, let's be like suppliers, and at my office, it's mostly like men. But in our industry, I'm quite happy that there are a lot of girls in the team, and they are starting to acknowledge the women in the team. I think one thing that you have to establish when meeting people for the first time, especially clients or engineers, is that you have to establish authority. You are here to get things done, and if you show them that you can do that, then why not? I think it's let's say let the resiliency of a woman be an inspiration for men and women alike.
How about you, Trixie? Especially with your experience in the cabin.
Yes, it is my job is not a male-dominated job, but we also have male cabin crews. So when I was still training as a cabin crew, it is pretty challenging because we have also strenuous activities that we do. But you just have to show to everyone what you are capable of. and and to believe in yourself. I believe that is really the key for you to succeed in anything that you want to succeed.
Gap.
So I'm currently a second year medical student, and so obviously a question that's always asked is, what do you want to specialize in? And whenever a female will say, I want to do surgery, the odds are quite low that you're actually going to get that job.
Because they always say, mag-obigay siguro ka. No.
Exactly. Like me, I personally don't want to do surgery because I can't stay awake in the operating room to save my life. But I have friends that really want to get into orthopedic surgery, which is a very male-dominated type of surgery. You need to have really strong muscles to be able to hammer in a lot of the instruments that are used on the client or on the patient. So it would be nice in the future for women not to get shut down by their choice of specialty, because a lot of the time people say, oh, but if you choose surgery, you won't have time for your family. But I have always believed that women are given the ability to bear a child because we can carry it all. We can deal with taking care of our family and working full time. I think that we've evolved, and it's time for us to not only evolve but to be accepted as normal in that aspect.
Which leads me to my next question. What do you think of this new generation's concept of marriage, women and marriage in your age, between marriage and juggling your career as a woman? Like, diba, in the olden days, when you're in your early 20s, you're already expected to get married and have kids. But I think that we've noticed that more and more women are getting married in their late 30s or even in their 40s when they've already had an established career. What are your thoughts on that? Gipang pressure na ba mo sa inyong mga tita when you go to a party nga, oy, day ka na sama ka magminyo? What are your thoughts on marriage?
I can share. I have a long-term boyfriend, so this definitely does happen when there's relatives that are like, you guys should get married already, but again, I am a medical student, so my life of schooling is quite long. But really my perception of it is I think it's more practical at this point to get married at a later age, because to get married when you're not stable on your own yet is really shaky ground. So how can you build a really strong foundation under your relationship that's supposed to last a lifetime if you can't even sustain yourself? I mean, I completely support those who choose to take on motherhood full time and really watch over the children, but you never know what life's gonna throw at you. If that one spouse that's bringing home the money doesn't, what if they lose their job? It's really nice to have that security that, oh yeah, I can also help pitch in too if something happens to us. So I think that'll also benefit our children in the future very much.
As for me, I'm more driven at this time. I'm more driven to my work. I want to have an established career before I take on the next stage of my life. And I think as for juggling like work and family, it depends on your choice and your capability actually. If you can provide for your family, then why not? If you can't at the moment, then I wouldn't want them to like suffer at a very young age or at the like prime years of my life. But let's just say that as for women, difficult times doesn't really diminish our capabilities. As time goes on, it only strengthens them.
Okay, just like Gab, I also have a long-term boyfriend, and for me, preparation is really the key. You have to first achieve your goals in life individually for you to build a family of your own. And as what they said, you don't want your children to suffer in the future. That is why preparation really is very important.
Yeah.
As for me, no one is pressuring me to get married yet, but many people are questioning about my what kind of future I will have. It's because they see me as a career woman, not a domesticated woman. And I have been working since I was 16. I was always outside home, and most people would tell me that there's no need to hustle hard because I should pick someone who can
fund
yes,
all of your needs.
yeah. But as for me, I am doing this for myself, for my self-fulfillment, and with regards to my career, with my work as well, I am doing this not just for me, but for the future generation. I am in love with what I do. I am in love saving lives because maybe I am not trying to save anyone, but it's my own life I am trying to save. I am also a road user. So as for now, I am happily in love and I am married to my profession and to my advocacy.
So, sige lang, give me one line. What's the best response to a Maritas tita who keeps on asking, kano sama ka mag-video, Dai? Just one-liner that you'd like to say in response. Pearl.
In time, because I have a community to make. I have the entire community as a family.
Chin, go. What's that rest back line?
Puhon maing lawas.
Puhon. Tricks.
Puhon tita mo, send ako invitation.
I'm doing this for your future niece or nephew.
All right, sige, just very, very quickly, what are the ways lang on how to overcome gender-based discrimination or, let's say, harassment in the workplace or in any scenario? Very quickly lang, Gab.
Especially in the workplace, any kind of harassment, I don't think we should give them the reaction that they're looking for. Because I know that they're expecting that we're going to get angry and therefore give them more attention. Rather, we should bring it up to an authority or someone superior who can actually do something about it. Because I think that if you talk to someone who has harassed you, that person is probably so used to doing that over and over again. So nothing you say will change the way that they look at women. So if we can talk to authorities who can properly put sanctions on this person, as long as they believe in the same cause that we do, then I think that that's all we can do at this point. But I hope in the future that it's a lot easier to deal with those types of situations.
That's very timely because we already have the Safe Spaces Act for that.
Yes.
Tricks.
Yes, I also agree with what Gab said. So, harassment is very rampant nowadays and it should not be ignored. So, we should tell the authorities about it if they continuously harass us. So, just protect yourself from anyone because anyone, even a stranger or even someone close to you can harass you.
I think for a while of working, you should not put put yourself in a place where you will be like very heavily discriminated or harassed. And yes, we could report it to the authorities, but sometimes the best thing you can do is maybe leave that workplace if it's not doing you any good. Because at the end of the day, you're there, let's say you're there to work, and what are you working for, who are you serving for, and what's your purpose? It should always come down to that, and you'd always have to go back to yourself and think of yourself. It doesn't do you any good, then you can leave if it's not getting any better.
So, if di na siya worth it. Pearl.
As for me, it's better to voice out and speak up. That's why, Miss, I believe that maybe it's about time that we create a safer platform where women can volunteer, where women can speak up. In this new normal, I guess this is very essential. Because daghan na kaayo babae who are working at home, and maybe they felt like they are caged and they cannot look for someone that they can talk to, that they can share their stories. And so for me, I am also fighting for a safer platform for them.
All right. Thank you so much to the four of you. You are indeed not just beautiful, but you're strong women. So thank you so much for everything that you've shared. And again, we wish you all the luck this coming March 16. All right. Thank you. Thank you. We have 4 more beautiful ladies to interview. So please don't go away. AnDiscoveries will be right back. Welcome back. This is our 3rd segment for AnDiscoveries in celebration of International Women's Day, and we have our last 4 candidates of Miss Cebu 2022. We have Christine, Lorraine, Carla, and Sheena. Memorize na ko. Hello. How are the 4 of you?
I'm doing fine. Actually, I'm just quite nervous, because the pageant is almost there, but I'm trying my best to live up to expectations and also do my best to be able to fulfill my purpose of joining Miss Cebu.
How are you?
Since it's already March, the month of coronation, I'm starting to get nervous. However, it's been very busy catching up with the activities in school and also for the activities of Miss Cebu. But I'm very excited for all of us.
So the four of you are still studying, or some have graduated already? Studying pa? Ah, okay. All right, sige. So the four of you share the same advocacy on children and the youth, right? If I'm not mistaken. And this pandemic, it has been dragging on for more than 2 years already. And there has been a study, it was from a group called Relief Web organization. It said that around 70% of young girls and young women have cited their education as that factor which has been impacted the most by the COVID-19 pandemic. From your individual advocacies, what can you share in terms of helping children and the youth in catching up with their studies since the pandemic started? Christine, would you like to start?
For me, I best believe that my ways are very simple. If you can provide storybooks, writing materials, coloring books, then that's a form of learning. That way, children will not have more time on social media, but they will have more time for their educational purposes.
A couple months ago, I actually started my own project. It's called Kaalam para sa Kabataan, and my goal is to educate those who have less access to education about topics that are happening right now that are relevant.
Like what?
Of course, the pandemic, the importance of vaccination, and I also talked about some controversial topics like menstrual health and mental health. So I visit orphanages and different establishments, and I give us an interactive seminar so that they can be socially aware. After all, that's the goal. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that education does not always have to be formal. You don't really need to be in a school setting in the four walls of a classroom to learn. It can also be done through simply being socially aware by reading verified and reliable news on social media. And that is why I do what I do.
So who were the beneficiaries? I'm just curious. Who were the beneficiaries of this project that you started?
So far, I've only done 2. The first one was in the province of Bareilly. I was able to gather 20 children who are not in school. And I talked to them about the disease prevention, since after all, we're not only battling with COVID, there are also other diseases that they need to be aware of, and the importance of vaccination, of proper nutrition from a perspective of a physical therapy student, and personal or good hygiene.
Nice. Beauty with a purpose indeed. How about you?
So for me, I've always been an active volunteer, even way before Miss Cebu, where I was a community extension services committee head, and we would target little children, out of youth children as well. And one thing that I've always noticed that you can always volunteer and get involved for you to help the community, because volunteering is free and you can always do it anytime, since and anywhere, especially in today's time where the pandemic is still here and everyone is struggling. And also, I'm also very proud to say that when I was in Community Extension Services Committee Head, we started a project called Dear Self. So it's like a Dear Self project wherein they target the children's values so they can learn self-love and also appreciate themselves. And which is why I'm very proud to say I'm going to do it this week, hopefully, if all goes well.
Where?
It's actually where I live. I'm from Nangka, Consolacion. So we're going to target the children there who are out of youth as well.
What do you teach them sa Dear Self ni mga project?
So since I'm also a psychology major, one thing that we do is like we want them to appreciate themselves and to learn how to love themselves. Since sometimes if you don't love yourself, you can't really focus on anything else. You're too stressed about worrying, about living up to expectations. So which is why we would love to teach them that, and we actually let them do it through art so they can express themselves through drawing, coloring, and other stuff.
Wow, nice. How about you, Sheena?
The sole reason why I joined Miss Cebu, because I will always remember this kid named Angel. I want to support her in education because what I like about her the most, because she's a street child actually. She doesn't ask for alms. Rather, she helps her mom sell food, fruits near the church. That's why I want to support these type of children. These type of children who may not have the financial support, but they have the drive and passion to finish their education. And that is why I'm here, because I also want to tap onto other entrepreneurs like me to financially support these children who is willing to finish their education not just for themselves but also for their family.
I love the fact that all of you are involved in different activities for the community. I'm just curious, what are the usual misconceptions or let's say mga negative comments about the youth from your generation, and how would you like to correct those concepts? Like what do they usually say? I believe you're in your 20s, yes? What are the common comments about the generation from your age?
One thing that a lot of people say about our generation is that we are entitled. And I believe that we're not entitled. We just know our worth, we know our value, and we know what's right for us. And I think that's something great because we were always suppressed and we were always taught to always follow the rules, do not question it. But I think it's so great that our generation is so strong, wherein they fight for what they believe in, they fight for what is correct, and I think that's the beauty of our generation.
I think I will always hear this, our generation is spoiled, that everything is already in front of us. And then they would always saying, as before, we have to travel this long, it's so hard, and then for us it's very easy. Yes, I can say that information is here and all, but we also have that pressure given to us that everything is right in front of us, and how are we gonna do it? How are we gonna take it in as a youth?
So I think similar to what they said, one common
Misconception
is the fact that we have it easy. The past generations always compare their generations to ours, and they don't want them to repeat their mistakes. So they fit us into like this box with this person, and they try to make us. It's like they tell us what to do, when in fact we're trying to find our own identity. So always embrace our individuality as well.
I think for me, knowing that we're in Miss Cebu, people would see us as perfect people. Like they're using us as someone where they look up to, but at the same time, they also find little mistakes or little flaws or the bad sides of one person. And all I can say is that we should not judge by a book by its cover. Because everything that people try to do is not for the people only, but they're also doing for themselves. So like for me, people would tell me that, oh, you're Miss Cebu, you need to be perfect all the time, you need to be graceful and this and that. But technically, at home, I just want to be the Christine who just plays with my dog, do things out of all the makeup, out of the screen. Because at the end of the day, no matter what person you portray, be on stage, on television, there's that one person at home that makes you remember that, you know what, this is the real me. And if people just see the good side or the other side of me, then let them see it. Because at least I know for myself that I know who I am, and I'm contented with knowing what I can do and knowing that this is me.
And I think, Sadno, one of the good things about the youth today is that we already know that we have a voice, diba? We can give our stand on different issues compared to the past. Nga, ay pagtubag-tubag diha, diba? At least we already know nga we are free to express our thoughts and opinions on different things, unlike before. And especially, for example, issues on mental health that used to be taboo before. It's now openly discussed. Members of the LGBTQI community. All right, sige. Now let's talk about women and leadership. The May 2022 elections is fast approaching, but there has been a recent survey released by the Philippine Statistics Authority that this was on the updates of men and women in the Philippines. It still shows a huge disparity between men and women in terms of elective positions held. But how do you see? We don't want this to be political, ha? We're not pertaining to any specific candidate, dili siya president, whatever, governor, whatever. But just elective positions. How do you see the developments in terms of governance and women leading key roles in LGUs? What are your thoughts on that?
There has always been this belief that men can do things and women can't do those things. But I think we need to break that kind of mentality, because it's not a gender basis when you can do something. You can't say that, oh, because I'm a guy, I can do this. Because we need to remember that it's not only based on gender, but it's also based in skills, courage, and of course, character.
what men can do, women can also do. Because at the end of the day, gender is just a gender, but capabilities will always be capabilities.
It's just really nice to see that women are empowered enough to run for politics, to be in the army, just to name a few. And I really do think that it's really nice to see. And I really do hope that in these elections there will be an equal amount of female and male in the arena of politics, so that we can continue to set out as examples that we are just as capable as men.
So I'm also a student leader myself. So I've run for positions such as vice president in my university or in our department. And one thing that I've always, like, what people always tell me is that, oh, are you sure you can do it? Are you sure can? Yeah, like they would ask me.
Because you're a girl?
Yes, I think so. Like because like they would ask, can you handle it? Like, can you handle the pressure? And one thing I've always said, of course, I can do it since I've done it before, and I can do it again. And it's something that I always like to share, that anyone can lead, women, men, but of course, women, we should also have our time to shine, especially since last year we had our very first Nobel Peace Prize winner, which was a woman. So it shows that us women will continue to make our mark in history. So let's do that, women. Let's shine and let's show the people what we could do.
Yes. Aside from Maria Ressa, we had our first woman gold medalist in the Olympics, right? Diba? Babae dyan ang nakauna. Go, Sheena.
It's very empowering to see women slowly be in a position where it is male dominated. That is why, as a Miss Cebu, I also want to show other women that just step out of your box. Do not care what other people say, that you shouldn't be in that position because it's full of male, it's male dominated workplace. For me, I don't care. I know what I can do. I know my knowledge and skills, and that's what I will fight for.
All right. Now that we're celebrating inspiring women, can you just name one woman that has always inspired you? Dili pwede inyong mom, ha? For exception, our mothers have always inspired us ever since. But can you name one specific woman? She can be like a celebrity, a politician, or a philanthropist. Go, Laura.
It would definitely have to be Angelina Jolie.
Why?
Because she's very beautiful, and aside from her thriving acting career, she loves to help out in the countries that need her help. She adopts children, and it's just really nice to see that she's using her platform for the good. She is influencing the youth, and she is really helping people that are in need.
I really look up to her because aside from having a successful work in the media, I really get inspired by how she adopts children. She helps children. I can see the pictures where this child was very malnourished, and then now that the child is with her, he or she is very healthy now, and then that is why I really look up to her.
For me, it would have to be a singer, and that's Taylor Swift, because I'm a singer-songwriter myself, and I really look up to her in the sense that she is able to express her feelings through songwriting, which a lot of people find it hard to do, expressing themselves. And with her being an epitome to me, it made me realize that, you know what, I can do this. I can express myself even in a form of music.
Mine would be Malala Yousafzai. She's actually, she fought for the rights for children to have education. And it's one thing that I always look up to, because at her young age, she was able to do so much. And I believe that it's also an inspiration to all of us, and it's something that I would love to do and love to live up to, which is why I joined Miss Cebu, to be able to help others and uplift others so I can help them as well.
You know what? I share the same choice with you. I've always looked up to her ever since. Last question lang, if there's something that you could say to your younger self, like when you were in first grade or unsaba, what would that advice be? Let's start with you, Sheen.
For me, the advice that I would tell my younger self is to live. You are only young for a few years, and you're going to grow up one day. Enjoy while you can, live while you can, because at the end of the day, it's going to be a journey to tell. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey, the path, and the choices that you make. Learn, live, and make mistakes while you can, because at the end of the day, at the end of every road, there's always going to be a learning lesson outcome.
Mine would have to be that it's okay to fail. In life in general, and even in exams, because we tend to pressure ourselves a lot. We always compare ourselves to others, and we just really need to learn how to cope with the pressure of what other people have to say about us. So I really do think that what I wish I'd done when I was younger was to really enjoy, live, and make the most out of my life, make mistakes, correct them. And what matters is that I grow. And I think that's something we should all strive for.
I think one thing I would tell my younger self is don't define yourself through numbers, because in our school they're very competitive, and like grades are very important. And I always thought, since I was always failing when I was in first grade, second grade, like in mathematics, like I was so bad at it, and like I grew up defining myself through those numbers, and I ended up being so sad. Every time I would get a low grade, I would get so sad and depressed, and I would not look forward to tomorrow. And it's one thing that I wanted to tell my younger self, because it gets better. And never define yourself for those numbers, because you are greater than that, you are more than that, and you can always do it if you believe and you try your best.
I would tell my younger self to get out of your box, because I remember way before, I was afraid of change. If I'm not comfortable with the situation or what I'm going into I want to step back. I want to go back to my own box. That is why right now I'm here. I'm joining Miss Cebu, and who would have thought I'd be in TV? Yeah, so so maybe my 15-year-old self would be very proud of me right now. And then I would tell other ladies out there, other children, teenagers, to go out there, because life has so much to offer.
Yay. Thank you so much, ladies, for being the voices that need to be heard, especially during these trying times. And thank you so much for being here. And again, we wish you all the luck. God bless March 16. Thank you so much. And by the way, we would also like to thank AT.E by Tatah for our wonderful wardrobes for today. And of course, Corso by Lifemalls by Filinvest, and our sponsors will be flashing them in a bit. Daghan kaayong salamat. Happy International Women's Day to all the ladies watching this. More than just beauty and grace, the crown comes with a purposeful role in inspiring and leading the community towards growth. The testimonies of these ladies today prove that you don't have to play masculine to be a strong woman. Happy International Women's Day to all my soul sisters. This has been Andy Patania Matthew for AnDiscoveries.
Beneath your feet, like the soft wind calling, like the April sun on a perfect day, like the bounty from the sea, like the sound of a laughter from a Cebuana brightens up your day. Oh, that lovely Cebuana.